Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima. Should have known my Persona 4 Dancing All Night video would have turned out the way it did. People die, people pay taxes, and people call me shit despite the fact that I acknowledge I'm shit. And never mind. So we're here checking out Heroes of Loot today. This is by Abstraction Games, notably, which is actually kind of disappointing considering how badly this port turned out. Actually, it's not that bad of a port, there's just one glaring issue with it, but we'll get into that. So you got Gravinus the Minstrel and Pascalus Sounderless, who you can actually kill off, notably to stop the music and the sound, and that's actually kind of neat. We've also got leaderboards. And, you know, they're leaderboards. You got friends, you got global, and you got top. Not that big of a deal. The game can be navigated with touchscreen or buttons. I prefer buttons for the most obvious reasons. So we have 4 different characters, and we've also got the Barbarian, who I almost unlocked, but I died on Dungeon 30 because it turns out some of the bigger monsters have a completely too large hitbox. But we're just gonna pick the Wizard, because why not? I mean, I don't even know if these stats affect anything. Like, I think they have minor differences on how strong your attacks are, and how long some items last for, and how much XP you get. But it really doesn't make a difference who you pick. They just kind of look different. And the dungeon difficulty down there means nothing. It literally just means you've gotten to dungeon, like, 15. When you fill up that meter, you're on dungeon 15. So congratulations. Or not. They actually spawn the harder enemies early. But anyway. So this is Heroes of Loot. The idea is, it's very reminiscent of Nuclear Throne. And it does kind of have the same goal. The idea is that there is a key that we have to get by basically killing as many monsters as we can on this level. I just walked into a shop because there was no way I was getting out of that. We are not buying that dungeon key because 75 coins for that dungeon. That is so unfair. I'm almost dead already. That's infuriating. The idea is one of these monsters is hiding a dungeon key, and we need to get that dungeon key in order to get out of this area. To beat the monsters, we have a shooting attack. Now, the main problem with this shooting attack is that it is absolutely terrible. Like, horrifically bad. You have no idea how bad it is unless you're using the face buttons. Now, I'll explain. So, you can use the right analog stick to fire in roughly any direction you like. I think it fires on an 8-directional basis, like a digital thing. However, the problem with this is that your shots will never go straight if you do it this way. They will never head in the exact direction you want to for more than a couple of shots at a time. This can be really problematic when you are stuck in a level. Oh look, cutscene. This is one of the humorous cutscenes that come up every now and again. Just have to wait for him to finish. And the game slowly unlocks more stuff for you as you go along, but trust me when I say, you've seen pretty much everything you need to see in the first 15 minutes of the game. So, the idea is, if I can just stop picking up these bloody runes. These runes make the game hilariously easy at times, although the fire rune turns out to be extremely useless. Mainly because of the general attack pattern. It just literally just goes in a circle and you can't determine where it goes, so you literally just spend like 50 to 60% of the rune just watching it fly around in a circle. But anyway, back to what I was originally on earlier, I'm sorry. So, you're shooting. You can fire in roughly 8 directions on the right control stick. However, the problem with this is that your shots never go straight, so you can never see exactly where you're going to hit based purely on the angle of your analog stick. That is a huge problem. But, anyway, this is the quest room. So, quest room. You go in, you get a quest, and you get told your reward for it, and off you go. But anyway, the other way of playing this game is firing using the face buttons or the shoulder buttons. And this is a lot more infuriating than you might think, because much like Alien Shooter with its auto-aim, the shots, when you use the buttons, auto-aim on the closest enemy. So, you've got... Well, not so much auto-aim, but your aim will automatically shift towards the nearest enemy, and you will look in the direction of the... If you're looking in the right direction, you'll be firing towards enemies as well. The problem with this is that your shots actually go straight. So, when your shots go straight, you can actually shoot down these hallways properly. And these hallways are half the level. 90% of the time, these hallways make up half the level. So, you end up needing to use just the button shot just so your shots will make it down the hallway half the time. Because if I stand here and fire, most of my shots won't make it down the hallway. If I use the square button, for example, like see, square, circle, triangle, X, it'll always fire in the direction you're facing. If I use that button, you'll always fire down there, but the problem is, it just makes the game too easy. Like, all you need to do is just hold the button and focus on dodging shots and possibly running away from the really big guys that show up later on, because that's really all there is to it. Oh look, it's a feather. Pokemon reference, really? Come on guys, you're better than that. So, all that you can really do to be effective in this game is just stay away, look in the right direction, and just hold the fire button down for a while. And that'll get you pretty much all the way through to the end of the game in one go. I'm not even joking. Like, I died on my first game in like 10 minutes because there was a big guy, and it turns out the big guys have really big collision masks, so that you end up running into them even when it looks like you're not touching them. That's infuriating. The rest of the second game that I played, I got down to dungeon level 28 without even thinking about it. And when you get to dungeon level 30, that's when you get the Barbarian. And the Barbarian in this game is actually the gold trophy. As you can see here, I've got most of the trophies already. I've got like 10 out of 15. I've got most of the trophies. I've seen most of everything you can do in this game. So, you see everything, well not everything, because the game does unlock some stuff, just slowly but surely, but you see pretty much everything you need to see in this game in the first 10 minutes that you play it. And that is just utterly disappointing, because there seems to be no sort of... Also, I don't know why that door couldn't be like an NPC in the dungeon, because you just had me go in, walk up, and then you immediately teleport me out. Hey, I got the cup of life. Sometimes you get these item rooms, sometimes you don't. It can get really annoying because I was looking for a cup of life earlier, and just every time that I could get the cup of life, I didn't have to go for it. But either way, the cup of life just lets me refill my health at wells. There are a couple of unique items, like there is something that lets you see the secret rooms, and there is a couple of other items like the lightning rune and the fire rune, both of which you've already seen. But the game basically has zero gameplay depth, because it's literally all you do. Ow, that's one of the big guys I was talking about, but yeah. He has a really big collision mask, and you will take damage just from standing near him. It's kind of annoying, but nevertheless. So, the game has no items, no... Like, there is leveling, but again, it doesn't really do anything that noticeable. It doesn't change the gameplay in any way. It just changes a couple of the graphics here and there. And all you really do is just wander around, hold down the fire button, try and dodge shots when you can see them, because the shots are really small. And you might not have a problem seeing them on the Vita screen, but trust me, when there's a bunch of shit going on, like your fire going out, your lightning rune going out, and just, yeah, things like gargoyles showing up and gold coins being on the floor, just everything will just add up to make the game a lot harder to... Well, it'll all just add up to be a lot harder to tell where the shots are coming from, trust me. And just on top of that, it's just boring. It's really just dull, because the best way to play it is literally just to walk into an area, dodge a little, and just hold down the fire button and let your guy wipe out all the guys on his own. There's no... It doesn't feel like you're doing anything. It feels like you're just a rudder on this surprisingly uninteractive game. And even that, but the shooting doesn't even feel that good. It just feels a bit weightless, and feels a bit weightless and dull. It's not like the game's obviously taken some cues from Nuclear Throne, and the one thing it really could have done to take from Nuclear Throne was the shooting, but like this lightning actually kicks a fair amount of ass, because you get this big screen shake and it hits a lot of areas at the same time, and this fire rune and the default bullets are just weightless. I don't even know what to think of them as. They're just not anywhere near as entertaining as the lightning rune. See, like, literally the best idea to do with those big guys is just to stand away and let the auto-aim take care of them, because there's no point in doing anything else. You'll just get hurt. But see, this is just ridiculous. Like, fire straight up, and the chances of my stuff reaching the end of the hallway is fairly low by default. Also, the auto-aim seems to have caught on to that guy there. It's just silly. That's my one main problem with it. The game itself runs fine. I haven't noticed any frame rate drops in the hour that I've been playing it for, especially when it gets hectic, which is a good bonus, but honestly, I've seen everything I want to see, and I do not plan on keeping this on my Vita much longer. Which is quite unfortunate, because I've left 2 codes down in the description. I've left, like, the 6 batches of letters to form 2 codes for this game, and if you're willing to put them back together before someone else does, you can just, yeah, it's all yours. Because I don't really know what else to do with the codes, to be perfectly honest with you. Maybe if the control stick aim worked like the auto aim did, it'd be a little better, but at the same time, it really doesn't help the game's variety. It doesn't help the fact that the game is basically just a straight shot with no items, no RPG systems. Like, the best part of games like roguelikes is that you're building your character constantly with a lot of unique properties. That's why Binding of Isaac is so popular. The hundreds of items that game has makes for a completely unique game experience every time. Meanwhile, in this game, I feel like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. Just wandering through the entirety of the game and just slowly but surely making my way to the next exit over and over and over and over and over again. There's no variety, there's no change in the gameplay. There are a couple of new traps here and there every like 5 to 10 minutes, but it's not enough. It's not enough to keep my interest beyond, well, the hour that I've played it for, honestly. And it really is a shame. Like, there are a million different things you can do to increase the variety of this game, and I know that it's a mobile port. Like, it was originally made for Android and iOS, but that doesn't change the fact that, that doesn't change the fact that now that we're on the PlayStation Vita, you could do a lot more to add a lot more variety to the game, but they just decided not to, so they shouldn't get a free pass for that. I mean, I guess it was because it was Abstraction Games porting it, they wanted to be as faithful as possible, but even then they kind of screwed up with the auto-aim on the main shoot buttons and the right analog stick just being, and just the right analog stick being hilariously inaccurate at times. See, like, literally all I need to do is just stand here and just fire at will now. Grab that. I don't even know what the hell was hurting me there. But yeah, now I get a titanium shield, and that protects me from some damage. Quite a boring item effect if you ask me, but we'll just leave that alone. I guess, oh, lightning rune, right. The annoying thing about the lightning rune and the fire rune is that while they're actually somewhat decent items to have, they tend to replace each other a lot, so you end up just accidentally, like, replacing the lightning rune with the fire rune without even intending to, because you can't see what you're picking up from the chest half the time. See, my shot has changed a little bit, but I don't even know if it's doing extra damage. It just doesn't look like it is. I think I'm just gonna give up and die here. There we go. There's no unlockables to lengthen the game other than the new traps and stuff you get every 5 minutes that don't really add that much to the gameplay, so there's just nothing here to keep me coming back, and nothing here to really make me want to play it in the first place, but that was a look at Heroes of Loot. Despite the fact that it's available for really cheap, we're talking sub $5 here, I still wouldn't recommend it. Spend your time playing Binding of Isaac or something like that. Just don't play this. I'd rather you not. Even though it's an Abstraction Games port, and I love Abstraction Games, just not worth the time. This has been Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time.